Decision Desk HQ can now project Donald Trump is going to win Michigan's Republican primary. No surprise. Decision Desk HQ can also predict and project that President Biden is going to win Michigan's Democratic primary. Now, those were expected outcomes. There's a lot more to unpack, though. Let's go to NewsNation Now host Connell McShane, who's crunching the numbers at the big board. Let's start with the Democrats,
yes.
Connell.
And that's the story, really. And we're going to have a story to talk about for a few days on the uncommitted movement in the Democratic primary in the state of Michigan. So to Chris's point, no surprise that Joe Biden wins the state with 78.6% of the vote as we refresh right there. But that second number you see is uncommitted. Remember, this grassroots movement had really taken hold in the last number of weeks where progressives in the party, Arab American voters, young voters, were being pushed to vote uncommitted rather than vote for Joe Biden to express their anger over the way the president has handled the war in Gaza. And they're doing that. Now, where are they doing it? What's interesting about this is we don't have a lot of the vote in from Dearborn. That's that Detroit suburb where you have a heavy population of Arab Americans. We expect that vote to come in here in the next number of minutes and probably show an advantage or even bigger uncommitted vote. Where we do see it is Washtenaw County. Now, what's interesting about Washtenaw County, you got a number of universities there. That's where Ann Arbor is, right? University of Michigan. Although, funny enough, I believe the kids at the University of Michigan are on break this week, but somebody got out and voted there. Eastern Michigan universities in this county, 24% of that county so far voting uncommitted. It's actually right next to Wayne County, and Wayne County is the county in Michigan where you're going to see a lot of this come in terms of the uncommitted vote, because that's, again, where Dearborn is, and that's somewhere that we'll watch very, very closely. So for now, the story of the night is the uncommitted vote, and we're seeing it come in Washtenaw County. So Joe Biden wins, yes, but the uncommitted vote will be the story, I think, going forward that people will have to talk about because, you know, it's real.
There was robust early voting. There's robust mail-in voting, so the kids could have been accounted for several different ways. But
yes,
this worked. Connell McShane, stay with me for a second here. Let's bring in NewsNation's political editor, Chris Stirewalt. Chris, you know, we don't know what the number is going to be, but the uncommitted thing, certainly we can say now, didn't not work.
Yeah, Connell very adroitly laid out where there's still a bunch of these votes likely to come in. Dearborn, which, you know, Metro Detroit has about 250,000 probably Arab Americans who live there. And Dearborn itself has been a hotbed of anti-Zionist, anti-Israel, anti-Biden energy throughout this thing. And this is certainly a show of strength. But it's also, by the way, as Connell pointed out, show of strength on college campuses. And Michigan and Michigan State are full of a lot of professors and students who want to be on the side against this war. But I will also point out that in a recent survey of Michigan voters, 53% of all Michiganians said that they were against the conflict and they wanted a ceasefire as soon as possible, including 72 or 73% of Democrats.
Right.
So for Joe Biden, and you heard him when he was talking to reporters as he was having an ice cream cone with Seth Meyers the other day, to say, soon, we're going to have a conclusion to this soon.
The problem for him is that Bibi Netanyahu waved that off. You know, the interesting thing, and then I want to go over to the Republican side and see what the story is tonight, is this just a mobilization for people who will stay home? Or is there real risk for Biden on this? Now, when you poll, are you plus minus on Israel? The numbers are very, very high and certainly higher than when you do it versus Hamas in the United States. Nobody wants to see the war continue to going. Everybody wants to see the violence. And the question is how? Do you believe, short question, do you believe this haunts Biden, or is this just a moment in time and these people come home?
Well, it depends on how and how soon it ends. The 8 months is an eternity. It's several geologic eras in political time.
Right.
And if this matter comes to some reasonable conclusion before, let's say, the summertime or before the spring is over, at least, that we have some closure here,
right,
then certainly you can imagine how a lot of the hard feelings would go away.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, And you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.